Okay.
Lillian, are you eating ice cream? I just ate ice cream.
Cone.
Such a cute
Really
little
good.
cone.
It's a Trader Joe's pumpkin little cones. They're really good.
Oh my gosh. So we said it was getting good. This
Yeah.
section.
Yeah.
There was
I
more clarity
enjoy the
for sure.
younger characters a little more than the
Mhm.
OG characters. I think because the younger characters, you kind of like, I don't know, they're more sympathetic in a way. Not Linton, he sucks, but the other two.
Yeah.
But I guess also he is sort of sympathetic, even though he sucks.
At the end.
He cut off.
Confused.
I
Oh,
was like-
sorry. Did Linton die at the end of what did we read? Chapter 25?
Well, I accidentally read further and not yet. He's still at chapter 27, so no.
So I'm like, I thought he's supposed to marry her or something. I don't know.
I mean, he's definitely not doing well.
Yeah. Linton is what's her name's? Heathcliff's and Isabella's son, right?
Yeah.
Which we found out in the beginning, he's the one that dies.
Yes.
Okay, cool. I did like that I was able to be like, oh, that's, that's
Mhm.
this one, and then that's that person, and then that's that person. In the beginning, it was just way too confusing. Ugh. So I kind of like that. But it's I can't wait to see what happens. Besides finding out that he dies.
It's just like when, how long?
Yeah,
make it.
exactly.
Were any of you thinking that the whole situation with Kathy and Linton, like this is what happens when you never leave your house and you've only met two guys, is that you're like, oh, I really want to marry this really obnoxious dude who is my cousin, but also is like really obnoxious. You're like, you don't know any better. You don't know that you deserve more.
Yeah.
Because it's either him or the other one who she doesn't
Mhm.
like.
I also didn't realize, because I'm not reading it, I thought it was like Hayton, and like they were and the narrator was just like saying it in a British way. But then I like read like a little summary and I was like, oh, it's Hareton.
Mhm.
But in the audiobook they're like Hayton. I was like, what? I thought it was Hayton the whole time.
Hayden.
Didn't realize it was Hayton. I like Hayton. I like him. I think he's my favorite of the young people because he's definitely a more decent person than you would think, given that Heathcliff is his, stepdad kind of figure. And I think Kathy is just very, 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 very naive.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I like her better than her mom.
Yeah, she's nicer. Or just like more understanding, kind of.
Not as dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it. She's just not as like prone to going into fits of kind of selfish rage.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Like she's just more kind of annoying, but that's because she's naive and she doesn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a bit confused. Kathy met Linton when they were younger, and then they took Linton, and then they met again when they were older. Because I was like, what is going on? Did we go back in time? But
Yeah, when
Yeah,
mom
because
died,
I think
but then since Heathcliff was the dad, he kind of was like, you need to bring him over or else I'm going to claim like the daughter or something like that. Um, so the older Linton was afraid, so he sent the boy back, even though I think like he would have liked to raise him, but he was too afraid of like something happening with his daughter. And Linton, the younger one, was so young that I don't think he really remembered very much until after they were older and they met. And then Kathy was like, why have we never met? Like we have to hang out more and stuff. But she didn't know that the two dads are like, they hate each other basically.
Mm-hmm. I thought that they were gonna naturally fall in love kind of thing or
Mhm.
like each other / marry each other. But the fact that Heathcliff, like, he's like, no, this is a plan. Like, let's have them get married. And then I was like, I don't like that anymore. I mean, I don't like cousins getting married. But it just, like I felt like it was more natural, like they just somehow, like we said, or Paola said, there's only two boys that she met, and like she had feelings for one, but I think Heathcliff had a lot to do.
It's how it's so calculating because you don't know is it actually like they like each other and they're starting to, have romantic feelings for each other, or is it all Heathcliff's plotting that makes it feel like very not genuine?
did any of you like Heathcliff better this section than previous sections, or is he still terrible?
I mean, I feel like maybe he's mellowed out a little bit, but I don't know if that made me have more affinity for him because I do find it like really creepy that he's using the as pawns.
I feel like I liked him less. Like something was giving me like before I remember that Linton and Kathy are the ones that are gonna end up together. I was like, why do I feel like he's gonna like try and be with her? Because he's like, oh, I didn't get to be with Catherine, I'm gonna be with your child. Because I at first I was like, is it Catherine and Heathcliff, or is it Catherine and what's his name? But then they mentioned it's like, oh, she has the Linton and then the Earnshaw. No. Whatever, the other last name, her maiden name, which I forgot.
Oh, I forgot it too.
Yeah, but they did mention it was like Catherine and then the other guy, not Heathcliff. And I was like, ew, so that means like he's trying to get with her because she died and oh my gosh, you're like the mom, but no.
I mean, probably now maybe Kathy will get older and Heathcliff will be like, oh, she looks like her mom, and it'll go that route too. That would be deeply disturbing.
I really hope not, because that's like out of everything, that's the one I hate the most, where it's like these young kids and older men are just yeah, makes me uncomfortable.
It's just
hot. Just kidding.
If you think it's hot, you should read Jane Eyre, because that's the sitch there.
I only said that because Judith always says like cringe.
Yeah, because you read my Dark Vanessa and that was disgusting.
Loved it.
Ew. And then you read what, Lolita?
Loved it. Just kidding. That one was way more disturbing.
Ew.
It's on my mind because I'm reading the Henry VIII book, and it's like now he's looking for his next wife after one of them died, and it's like they're so young, and he's just like, not the most like appealing suitor, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
Judith, how are you not grossed out by like it's like the same thing with what is it? The dragon shit that's on HBO right now. He literally married someone.
I never said I wasn't comfortable or like I was, I am uncomfortable.
He's like old as fuck, like on top of her, and she's just like laying there, like.
Yeah. But what's more gross, that or like the incest? What's more gross? I don't know. It's like some very disturbing romances in that show for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed, I don't know. I do think that some of the stuff with her and with Kathy and Linton was a little repetitive. Like it was like she would go back and he would be like a butthead, and then she'd be like, you suck, and then she'd be like, oh, but he's okay today. And like it was a little repetitive, but in general, I
Toxic.
like this. Yeah, in general, I like this section of the book because I think the younger characters are just a little bit more interesting.
Mhm.
I do think though that it's very interesting still that like it's all like like it's all like if you think about it, like this is all from Nellie's perspective,
Mm-hmm.
like and from the other guy, sort
Mhm.
of, kind of. And it's just like very interesting because you wonder like, is she biased? Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like it's just like a very interesting way to tell a story. And like sometimes her own opinions like pop into how she's describing the scenes, like how she's like, Kathy was a lot, I liked her a lot more like than her mom, and like stuff like that. And it makes you wonder, like, you know, it's just like an interesting way to tell a story because you don't really know.
It
Like
would be,
maybe this is just Nellie's perspective. I don't know.
Or
yeah.
stuff she made up. How do we know she didn't make it up to, you know, like
Hmm.
try and convince a different narrative than what it actually was, you know? Because I mean, I don't really know how Lockwood or why he, like, why it matters, why he's there, or like the relationship besides just like living there. But still, I'm like, I don't know. It's weird.
I wonder what it would be like if it was, you know, jumping around from first person perspective to the different characters within the different time spans. I feel it would be more intense. Not that it's not intense already, but even more so.
I feel though that like if like Linton had a chapter, I would like barely be able to read it because he seems really self-absorbed. And then like if Heathcliff had a chapter, it would just be like disturbing and horrifying.
I feel like,
What goes
yeah,
on in his head.
it'd be just like plotting and intense, like I need to exact my revenge upon these wrongdoers. La, la, la.
And then like obsessing over Catherine at
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
feel it would be disturbing in a different way
some
too because of
point.
that,
Being
you
like,
know. I feel like it's strange too, like the characterization between the two male cousins and like how one's kind of put out to be a servant and he can't really read. Like I feel bad because it's such a gift to read, and you know the other child does have it. And then Kathy's all saying, you know, Harrington is the servant and everything, and I just wonder how much resentment he has too, even though he doesn't seem like as bad as some of the other characters.
yeah, because he's supposed to be the lord of the house. Like it's really
Mhm.
him that is supposed to be inheriting everything because his dad was his dad was Hindley, who was the heir. So now he's supposed to be the heir. And he's like treated that way.
Mhm.
And it's kind of like not right. You know, it's kind of sad that he's like in some ways, like, you know, apparently he's very strong and he's, you know, I guess that's good. He has like good, you know, he's healthy,
Yeah.
unlike Linton, but he doesn't even know. Like I hope he finds out. Like, does he have absolutely no idea, or does he just think he's not worthwhile?
That's what I was wondering, but I feel like the book, in terms of the property, kind of let us know that Henley got in debt or something, right, because of gambling, or he lost everything, and Heathcliff was the one that saved him. But we don't know how Heathcliff got all his money. So I wonder if like Harrington knows that he's the rightful heir in a way, or that even happened, or he just thinks like Heathcliff is the owner in general. You know, there's different things that he could know or not know. But I wonder, like, if he gets older and he doesn't know, I feel like being the type of book that it is, I feel like if he did know, maybe he would want to get revenge on Heathcliff himself too and say, like, I'm going to take back what's rightfully mine, so I'm not treated like a servant. So I don't think he knows.
Yeah, I also don't think he knows. Because I think he would, I don't know, I feel like he'd be more resentful than of where he is. But he seems kind of just like resigned to what he is.
Yeah.
Like he feels ashamed, but also like like he's not necessarily fighting against it. Although he is learning to read, I thought that was sweet.
I liked that.
Trying to impress Kathy, who does not have the sense to realize that she likes the lesser dude, the lesser cousin, because they're both her cousins.
Yeah. I wonder if he has a crush on Kathy too, and it's gonna be like reverse Heathcliff Catherine, you know? I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I hope that it doesn't end the same way. 'Cause
Very
that
nice.
was great. Hopefully they don't repeat the mistakes of their parents.
Yeah. Yep. That'd be very ironic.
Are you guys still the readers versus the audiobooks people? Are you still finding it kind of hard to read, or is it gotten better?
It's easier to listen to be honest, because of the gibberish.
The
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
this round I did listening while like just following.
Mhm.
And there was that one section, I completely don't even know what they were saying, because the audio, I know the
Mhm.
audio was better, but I was like, what? And as I'm reading, I was like, how did you even get that? How did you even read that? So I was more
Well,
focused
whenever
in, like,
Joseph talks, I don't know
yeah,
what
yeah,
he's
yeah. I'm
saying.
pretty sure it was Joseph.
I have no idea what he's saying.
Yeah. No, but like I was looking at it and I was too focused on like trying to be like, how did you get what you just said from this, that I completely missed whatever they were saying. And I was like, I'll be fine. It doesn't seem that critical. Sadly.
Yeah, thankfully that guy is mostly just complaining when he talks, so it
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
really matter if you miss it.
Yeah, exactly. He's
I think for me, it just had been so long since I read a classic book at the beginning. I was gonna like, oh yeah, this is harder than like usual. But I feel like I've warmed up to it now, and I do like it. I do enjoy it, but it is like there's more words I don't know sometimes. I haven't tried the audiobook, but I like reading it.
Yeah, I think the narrator is really, really good. She's making it very easy to follow.
yeah.
Mhm.
And it helps that it's decently chronological, like, you know, because I think if I jumped around a lot in time as other books always had, plus the old English language, I feel that then it would be a lot trickier too.
I think a lot of it is actually like kind of modern in the way that like the characters are very like gritty and they're very emotional, and the way that they talk to each other and stuff, it I feel like it's very, it doesn't feel like it's like the 1800s necessarily. It feels more modern, and I think that's kind of interesting because like again, this is like the only book she ever wrote, so it's just like, was it really like that back then and people just didn't write books like that, and or was she just like really forward thinking?
I was also thinking a little bit of that, and I'm like, it's an interesting story to like write from her, obviously not her perspective, but have her write. That I'm like, you know how authors write from personal experiences or whatever. I'm like, what if part of this is like, I mean, I don't know a lot about her sisters, her family, any of that, but I'm like, what if this is a friend, or what if this is, you know, like she experienced part of this? I'm like, that's insane, because I'm over here just thinking it's fiction, but I mean, it was one book. We don't have much besides like she has this one book and she has a sister or two, right?
Yeah.
I think the only thing I know that's sort of similar to the book is that her older brother was like an alcoholic, and he died like of like being on drugs and being an alcoholic.
Wow.
So that might be like kind of where Hindley is, where that's taken from, but that's like the only thing. Like she lived kind of at home. So
that's what I was like, I feel like it can't be experience wise, because once again, maybe the whole distance from other people kind of thing, but you know.
Maybe she did know people like that though.
Yeah.
Maybe she just was really imaginative.
Maybe she's
They read a lot too, I'm sure, kind of like in Little Women when they read so much and they have, their club where they write.
Yeah, because I feel like the characters are really strong in terms of like you can really get a sense of them
They're
for
complex.
sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And they're unique in that they don't fit like a lot of the common archetypes, I feel, in a way.
Yeah, Heathcliff is like he's
I've
an
never had
original.
a character like him, so that's hard to do even back then.
Yeah, I feel like he's the original, like a lot of these. I haven't read Twilight, I haven't read 50 Shades, but like that kind of energy,
Like the brooding.
like kind of possessive and brooding is sort of similar.
I definitely see that, yeah.
Just a dark past, and they just
More
it off.
contrast, yeah.
Christian Grey.
Who?
Christian Grey. I was like, you read the book. What do you mean who?
I just know all the books were remade from in his perspective.
They're not
And
that great.
All of them?
Oh, not all of them. But there was one
Mhm.
called just Grey, and it was basically like everything the same.
All three. They're all three the same, but just from his perspective.
Mm.
Why would I
Is
want
any
that?
different?
I don't know. I'm about to find out. I just picked up the last two.
Are you serious? I was actually going through my books trying to find out. I didn't want to buy a book, so I was like, oh, a thriller, let me see if I find something, which obviously I don't have much of. But I already had Wuthering Heights. It was stashed like at the lowest level of like the bookcase, and I'm like, wait, is that? And I was like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I mean, this one's pretty.
Yeah.
But like I already had it, and I was like, oh God. But as I was looking through, I saw the 50 Shades one, and I saw Grey, and I was like, I never finished that one because it was the same. It was nothing changed besides just being like, oh, like I don't even know.
I can reread those like all the time.
I can reread the original, not his point of view.
No,
No.
you're bumming me. Nah, I'm probably still gonna like them.
I haven't read them.
For Valentine's Day?
Maybe.
Maybe.
There was
Definitely more than enough passion for the month of February.
I've seen most of the movies. I've not read the book. I haven't seen the last movie. I thought the second movie was pretty boring, so I didn't.
Second one and second book too is my least favorite.
I can't remember which one I cried. I think the last one.
Are you sure it wasn't the first one? Because she dumps him at the end of the first one.
No.
No, I cried for
No.
that.
It was when we were deeper in the story. But talking about this, there was one quote that I'm like, I don't think it's as critical. I just think it's funny and how like dramatic, but also kind of like, oh my God. Where what was she talking about? She's like, oh, I gave him my heart and he took and pinched it to death and flung it back to me. People feel with their hearts, Ellen, and since he has destroyed mine, I have not power to feel for him. I don't know. I thought it was interesting that she's like, he grabbed my heart, pinched it, killed it, like, yeah, and then threw it back at me. So descriptive that I was like, oh my God, I kind of love that. Like, if I want to write to someone, be like, you did this, I was like, oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
That was cute. in a dramatic way.
It's poem.
A poem, poetic.
Definitely poetic and very descriptive language.
I think it was just that one though. Everything else I was like, oh, it's okay, it's all right.
I speak it's like when you pinch someone, like you're usually mad at them. I think it's feel like when little kids pinch each other, like try to get back at each other.
also a bit confused. I don't know what you guys think about like how they thought Heathcliff's son would have darker skin color, like darker hair, but he didn't.
Mhm.
And then if that was his son that could be so pale, I just don't know. Could Kathy be his son? Was there a possibility he was intimate with the dead Kathy? But Nellie says Kathy looks like Linton, but I don't know. Just- His actual son was pale. He could have that. Kathy could have been his too.
A double layer of incest then.
Hmm.
I mean, it could
But
be
Maybe
twice.
they
incest.
made, I think maybe they made him look nothing like his dad to just like make them more antagonistic,
Towards each other.
to make it like, oh, he's like nothing, like the dad like would hate him even more because
Yeah.
he's like nothing like him. Because what you would expect would be a little Heathcliff,
Mhm.
but what you got was like a little Linton,
Yeah.
one of the
He's
Lintons.
loved. That makes sense.
Like doesn't really make a lot of sense, but like in terms of the metaphor,
The characterization.
like it would, you would think that he would look a little more like his dad, but apparently he looks absolutely nothing like him. I think like the one thing, did he say like the eyes was sort of like him? I don't know. Maybe that was the one thing. I don't
I
remember.
thought he said that, but he had blue eyes. It's like you have beautiful blue eyes or something like that. I thought it was interesting that when he was gonna meet Heathcliff, he was like, wait, why haven't I heard, like, for being a young boy, he had what? Was See, I got lost in age there. I don't know how old he was, but he was
I think they
asking all
were
these
like
questions.
13 or something,
Oh,
because they
okay.
said Kathy was 13 and they're like the same age.
Oh, okay. So I like that he was like, well, I never heard of him. Have I met him? Was it when I was a little boy and I didn't remember, like a little baby and I don't remember that? Or like why did like he was just like, why? But then I'm kind of confused why Heathcliff was like super happy to see him then. He's like, oh yeah, bring me my son. But I feel like back then he didn't really. I mean, he tried to find him, right? Like one time, something like that.
I think he also doesn't like how the son is weak, right? Like physically weak and sickly. Maybe that's something that he's disappointed in. Like he wishes his son would have been big and strong, you know.
Has he always been sick, or was that recent?
I'm not sure. I think he was a little sick when he was a baby too, right? Or no? And then when we meet him as a tween or teenager, I feel like it's saying like he's really weak. But who knows if he does that to himself too, you know, by being mostly by himself in a miserable home with people that are not that nice.
Mm-hmm.
It makes someone like depressed or feel like they're sick too.
I feel like the only reason why he jumped on the son was because the son was going to be raised by his uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And then he developed all these plans that he was going to have with him.
Yeah.
And like how he was like, I'm going to raise him to be like the most gentleman, civilized guy ever. And then I'm going to like marry him to Kathy. And then like, I'm going to, like, I feel like he doesn't really care
It's more revenge
about his son.
Yeah.
But like, it's all about like, oh, like that's my son, you can't raise him, or like that's my son, he better be like treated like in a certain way. Like it's all about him. He doesn't actually really care. So that's why he didn't really care until the mom died and until he realized the son was gonna go somewhere else.
That makes a lot of sense because I wonder, imagining like, you know, that Linton and his sister Isabella had a different relative, like a long distant aunt or something, and the kid went to go live with them. I don't think Heathcliff would have cared, but it's just that because it's Linton and he hates him so much and Linton hates him, that he couldn't bear like his son being raised. And then by him, so then he figured out that he could just kind of raise him on his own, but then also use him like for his little evil plot or whatever. So many layers here.
Yeah, the guy must literally just be plotting like all day.
Mhm.
Like, I don't think he has other thoughts in his head. He literally is just like, how can I like get back at these people? How can I manipulate this situation for myself?
And he's not even coming out right now that much. So I feel like that is true, and he's probably just observing from like wherever he can, getting secret information. And then next thing the cousins, maybe they'll fall in love or maybe they'll have a fight. And then he's just going to be like, okay, now this. And then pandemonium will happen.
I do think it's kind of cool that Nellie's like the one person that like isn't afraid of him. And
Mhm.
like, well, in her account at least,
Yeah.
she's like the one person that like will stand up to him and can like sort of communicate with him like as an equal. Like,
Mhm.
even though he still like makes her do stuff,
Mhm.
like I feel like he sort of respects her a little bit, and that's why he like sort of talks to her like with a little bit of like respect, like even though he's commanding her to do stuff. Like with other people he's just like, do that, like what he just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Like he's like thinks everyone's beneath him. But with her he'll actually like kind of try to explain things and try to like talk through things with her more.
Maybe he remembers how she was a little bit nice to him when he was younger too. I think that must be it.
I was just gonna bring that up. Wasn't she the one who actually told Catherine like, hey, your a friend is here? And it's like, no, Heathcliff. Oh my gosh, Heathcliff! No, excited. That's how the audiobook sounded. Just kidding.
Oh, I believed you.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, his way of like like he'll be like only just rude to her versus like, super manipulative and insulting to everyone else. He'll just be
Mhm.
like rude to her, but not like, but he'll still talk to her. That's what he does to people that are like sort of were on his side at some point.
Didn't he like, I don't think it was this section, I think it was a previous one. He would just go to his room or somewhere else and just lock himself up. And then Isabella was there by herself. He's definitely like plotting stuff just, out there. He's like freaking
Well,
psych.
at the time too, didn't Lindley, what was his name? What's his name?
Linton.
No, the other one.
Hindley? No,
Yeah, Lindy.
Henry,
Hindley.
Yeah.
the brother, the alcoholic
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. He wasn't he like trying to kill him, so that's why he had to lock himself.
Oh yeah, it's also true.
Yeah.
That's just crazy. They're just psychos.
I'm
Just
surprised.
want to kill them and
I mean, I know what Harrison's going through is pretty bad, but what Darlene said made me remember when Harrison was a baby, he got dropped, remember, and he caught him. I wonder like how he hasn't tried to like kill him or something, if the hate is still as strong, or maybe because he caught him when he was a baby, he's like, I want to make him suffer this way instead. I think that's one of the parts that like stuck with me a lot about Heathcliff, when the book described like how he looked up at Hensley and like saw that he missed getting his revenge because he could have let the baby drop, and I'm just like, oh my gosh.
oh. I was like, wait, I think I just came across. Oh no. I thought I had like discussion questions.
Hmm.
I'm sure there's plenty online.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I wish I had this book earlier. Look at what I was trying to create.
Oh, there's
Oh,
the picture.
Oh,
And the picture.
Wow.
Is that the Barnes and Noble one?
Yeah, that would have been helpful for everyone.
Mine does not look like that at all. That's interesting. Yeah. Oh, look, Isabella.
Hey, but who's Harriton's mom?
The wife of Henley, who we didn't really get to know very well, the one that died giving birth to him.
The one that he brought from when he went to college or something, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
He wasn't a big character, I guess.
Yeah.
I want to see what happens when Harrington finds out that, if he doesn't already know, that like he really should be the rightful owner of that property.
Kick Heathcliff out.
maybe
Mhm.
once he like fully is able to read, he might find something and then he'll read it, and then I'll be like,
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
maybe that's why they didn't teach him to read.
That
Yeah.
Bailey.
God.
We do waves in my class. Like
Oh,
You do what?
Keep him controlled.
cat finger woo. Woo! And it's like a
Oh
little
my
finger.
That's cute. Wow. This is interesting. Well, we'll see what happens. We got a little way to go. Oh my gosh. I swear this book has it all. Okay. Do you guys have book suggestions?
And do.
Yes.
Yay. Katie sent me hers.
Ooh.
And I'm wondering if, since I mentioned the whole like autobiographies, biography / nonfiction, if she thought I meant this month.
oh,
So I don't know if I should.
Let me text her.
No, she already sent me her book.
Oh, is it a scary one or is it the autobiography one?
No, it's the autobiography one. But I feel like if I tell you guys, I feel like most of you guys would want to read it. But I don't know if you guys would want to change the theme.
Well, we can mix it up and see what happens too. We can just throw it in.
No, we can try and do the thriller and then I'll just mention her book and maybe we can consider it for next month.
I mean, I guess we should still ask her though, because she might have like a horror one.
Oh, that's true. I didn't do that. You're right. I just saw it and I was like, I don't think that's scary. I was like, oh no.
Oh.
Katie, it's out. It's not scary enough.
What?
I'm joking. That's funny.
For the longest time, I was like, Crystal's face isn't changing at all. But you're frozen. Oh, there you are.
Oh, it's because
I thought you really weren't. I was like, oh my gosh, she has that as her picture.
what it did. I just look like an idiot going.
And then your students like didn't figure out how to like put a picture of themselves during
Oh.
but they would put the camera on themselves and be like this watching TV and like eating chips and
Oh.
and I'd be like you're watching TV instead of being in my class.
Oh.
It was really silly. Let me find a description for the book I'm gonna pitch here. I'm also excited to watch the movies now for Wuthering Heights now that we're getting finished.
Yeah, I think it's a mini series movie, but I think the Tom Hardy is the only one that I've seen. Or no, I saw one with Ray Fiennes and Juliette Binoche. But the Tom Hardy one though, I remember was kind of like not exactly like the book, but it does have Tom Hardy. So
Oh, yep,
you
yep.
know, Tom Hardy is Heathcliff. I don't think you can do any better. I feel like that's perfect casting.
Oh wow.
Yeah. I had only seen Tom Hardy in that movie Judith mentioned, This Means War. But then after when I saw him in The Dark Knight, I was like, oh my gosh, he could be so scary. Or not The Dark Knight, but the third one, Dark Knight Rises. I was like really like impressed.
Okay, so I texted Katie. We'll see if she has a book. If not, I'll still suggest her book just because
Yeah.
I want to read it. I've been wanting to read it.
At least hint, don't tease us.
What?
Show it already.
Oh, you want me to tell you guys? Okay, before we actually, I'm sure you've heard of I'm Glad My Mom Died.
Oh my god,
I
yes,
have
I
it.
want to read that.
I have it in my
Yeah, I almost started reading it. I'll wait then.
look. I have it in my Audible. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah. There's just everyone is talking about it, and I was like,
download it.
Yeah.
I saw it like somewhere, I think on Instagram. That sounds so interesting to read about.
The only thing is it's short. Like it's really short. That's the
How
only
short?
thing. It's only like 7 hours.
Oh,
So
Oh.
that's the
what
only
piece
thing.
is that?
that'd be like 30 pages a week. Just not bad. We
That's the
can
only
have a
thing.
chill one.
It says it's
Yeah.
320 pages, but I'm sure it's probably like bigger font, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's still like what, like 70 pages or so, 60, 70 pages a week.
60, 70, yeah, everyone is talking about it. I saw that she was getting interviewed, and I was like, oh my gosh, I guess that's an interesting title.
Mhm.
And now Katie sent it my way, and I'm just like, I gotta read this book. But now I'm gonna put it on hold because
I know I just came through on my library app and I was gonna start reading it this weekend, but I'll wait just in case.
I
In case for next month it gets picked.
don't know if I'll be able to wait. Yeah, maybe I can. Okay, who wants to go first?
Mine's pretty short, so I can go first.
Dracula.
I'm actually not pitching Dracula because I think Crystal might be pitching it. Are you pitching
I'll
it?
pitch it. I'll pitch it again.
Okay.
What?
It is in the vampire theme, so I'm pitching Salem's Lot by Stephen King. I have not read it before, and I'm just gonna read the little description here from Amazon. #1 bestseller, Ben Mears has returned to Jerusalem's Lot in hopes that exploring the history of the Marston House, an old mansion long the subject of rumor and speculation, will help him cast out his personal devils and provide inspiration for his new book. So it sounds like the author theme again. But when 2 young boys venture into the woods and only one returns alive, Mears begins to realize that something sinister is at work. In fact, his hometown is under siege from forces of darkness far beyond his imagination, and only he, with a small group of allies, can hope to contain the evil that is growing within the borders of this small New England town. With this, his second novel, Stephen King established himself as an indisputable master of American horror, able to transform the old conceits of the genre into something fresh and all the more frightening for taking place in a familiar, idyllic locale. And that concludes my pitch.
That's his second book?
His second book, I didn't know that until just now.
Mm.
I wonder what his first book was. I'm gonna look it up.
I think I remember that was one of the ones that was in the last year's Stephen King, like the one where I think it was Ukraine. You picked like 5 of them, and I think that was one of them.
It was.
Yeah.
It called my attention a lot, but I still haven't read it. It'd be good to read something like older from his and see like how it compares to newer stuff or other stuff that we've read as well.
What number was The Shining?
I'll look that up right now too.
Was it like, phew, like right in the middle?
Oh,
Was it the third?
his first novel was actually Carrie, and I think you guys would like that book too. And it's not long, if anyone
Oh,
wishes.
I've heard of Carrie.
I'll pitch Carrie. I have it on my book.
That's good. Yeah, I wouldn't mind reading.
Oh
it.
wait, you already read it. Just kidding.
I
Oh,
wouldn't
you read
mind-
it really already too.
I've read what? No, yeah, pitch whichever ones you guys like. It'd be fun to read them with you and see what you guys think.
Let's do Carrie. I'm gonna do Carrie.
Okay.
Because I won't pull up the description. I don't have it.
Hold on, I'm looking.
Isn't it about a girl that nobody
girl.
likes?
Pig's
and-
blood thrown on her.
Yeah.
She gets
They
blood.
like pretty much bully her, right? And she's in
Okay.
prom. She's
She's
wearing a
like-
dress and she ends up in blood.
Have you seen the? Are you getting this with the movie?
Yeah.
I've not seen the movie, but I've seen like the trailer, so I know like generally what happens. But I've not actually seen the movie.
Wasn't there like a more modern movie? I saw that one.
There's two. There's one with
No, it's
and the old
Carrie.
one.
The movie is an older movie. They must have made it like right after the book came out.
Yeah, I think
The
I've
Sissy Spacek.
Misery was his 21st book. I'm still looking for the name.
there's this guy on YouTube that I follow because he recommends books, and one of his best books was Misery. And I wasn't a fan, so I was like, damn it. Now I can't really follow it and like consider your recommendations. Like,
The Shining was actually number 3. That's
oh,
It
wow.
was probably 1, 2, 3, which would be very interesting, I think.
Wow.
He has so many though. Let me see how many he has.
Was that Rico that just
Yeah.
as he walked
There
past?
was a ghost.
He should join us for the scary month.
Yeah.
No like weird sex scenes in that one.
Spooky.
Yeah, we
What?
could join for Booktober. I'll think about it.
So that's a no. Whenever a guy says I'll think about it, I'll be no.
That was funny.
Are we gonna do the Carrie description or should I do mine?
You could do yours.
Or do we
yours.
already generally know?
I think
So I'm doing this one on a
Ooh.
quiet street.
Ooh.
And I just saw it on like my Amazon, on my Audible like recommendations under like thriller.
Yeah.
It's a newer book. It came out this year. The description: the perfect neighborhood can be the perfect place to hide. Who wouldn't want to live in Brighton Hills? This exclusive community on the Oregon coast is the perfect mix of luxury and natural beauty. Stunning houses nestle beneath mighty Douglas firs, and lush backyards roll down to the lakefront. It's the kind of place where neighbors look out for one another, sometimes a little too closely. Cora thinks her husband Finn is cheating. She just needs to catch him in the act. That's where Paige comes in. Paige lost her son to a hit and run last year. And she's drowning in the kind of grief that makes people do reckless things, like spying on the locals, searching for proof that her son's death was no accident, and agreeing to Cora's plan to reveal what kind of man Finn really is. All the while, their reclusive new neighbor, Georgia, is acting more strangely every day. But what could such a young, lovely mother possibly be hiding? When you really start to look beyond the airy open floor plans and marble counters, Brighton Hills is filled with secrets. Some big, some little, some deadly, and one by one, they're about to be revealed.
It's like you open up a drawer and there's a finger.
Like that's creepy.
Creepy neighbors doing shady, creepy things.
I'm gonna look up Carrie just so we can have.
Kind of reminds me of like a creepier Big Little Lies.
I loved
A little
that.
bit. Yeah.
Was.
Photos. There you go.
Julie, gonna go. Julie, you didn't fall asleep again. Oh my god. I know her book though, in case she.
I love that backup.
Julie, you asleep? Oh my god. Oh
It's
my god.
9:30. No, it's not that early. I'm already falling asleep.
I think I was falling asleep at 9 yesterday. I was so tired. I could read Carrie though and see. We can see if Julie comes.
Yeah, let's read Carrie.
Gory and horrifying. You can't put it down. Unpopular at school and subjected to her mother's religious fanaticism at home, Carrie White does not have it easy. But while she may be picked on by her classmates, she has a gift she's kept secret since she was a little girl. She can move things with her mind. Lock, candles fall. Her ability has been both a power and a problem. And when she finds herself the recipient of a sudden act of kindness, Carrie feels like she's finally been given a chance to be normal. She hopes that the nightmare of her classmates' vicious taunts is over, but an unexpected and cruel prank turns her gift into a weapon of horror so destructive that the town may never recover. Recommend.
I have this book Oh, it's right here. I just have like 3 or 4 books that I'm looking at right now, and I'm just like, which one was it? I already suggested this one previously. It's Before I Go to Sleep.
Oh
It's
my god, that face! Why do you have to pop it up like?
No.
Scary.
Ooh.
There's a tiny description on here, but I could give more. It just says memories define us, so what if you lost yours every time you went to sleep? Your name, your identity, your past, even the people you love, all forgotten overnight. And the one person you trust may be telling you only half the story. So it's Christine wakes up every morning in an unfamiliar bed with an unfamiliar man. She looks in the mirror and sees an unfamiliar, there's a lot of unfamiliar already. I don't like it. Middle-aged man. And every morning, the man she has woken up with must explain that he is Ben. He is her husband. He is 47 years old, and a terrible accident 2 decades earlier decimated her ability to form new memories. Every day, Christine must begin again the reconstruction of her past, and the closer she gets to the truth, the more unbelievable it seems.
Like 50 First Dates.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But it's under psychological thriller and mystery thriller, so I don't know if I trust Ben. So
Maybe he's controlling.
He could be mean to her.
Yeah.
You don't remember what they're waking up to.
She forgets. Yeah.
that face.
Ooh.
What's it called?
The fuck, man! I look away.
Before I go to sleep.
That's a very creepy cover.
Yeah.
I feel like I would have to take that off or cover it with a sticky note or something.
Yeah.
This is the cover. I literally like.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that's why I'm like. Yeah, I've had this book for a while, and I'm like, you know what? Might as well. Let's get to it. If you guys want, of course.
Julie, last call before I pitch for you.
Last call. Don't forget to tip your bartenders.
All right. So this is her book.
Okay.
It's called The Woman in Black.
Ooh. If
If it sounds familiar, it's because it was a Daniel Radcliffe movie a few years ago.
Oh.
And the description is a young lawyer named Arthur Kipps travels to the English countryside to settle a dead widow's affairs. The case should be open and shut, but the townsfolk act awfully edgy when Arthur arrives. At the widow's funeral, Arthur can't help but notice a gaunt woman dressed in black from head to toe. The situation gets stranger when no one else remembers seeing her. Back at the estate, Arthur catches glimpses of the woman again. Could the house be haunted, or are the locals messing with the lawyer's head? This creepy horror story has all the classic elements: a dark house, mysterious features, and a possible ghost.
That's pretty good.
Is it Susan Hill?
I like
Yeah.
the
Yeah. Okay, cool. Dun, dun, dun. Wow. Ooh.
we have a good lineup. Eileen, do you have
I
one?
don't have one.
Ooh, that's scary.
have any of you read? I think Corina has read this one.
I think
I've read Sharp Objects.
I think I've read both of them. What's Dark Places about? I've definitely read Sharp Objects.
I was like, which one am I holding? What
is this?
This is it's about a kill club.
I have not read it.
No, they mentioned a kill club. Libby Day was 7 when her mother and 2 sisters were murdered in the Satan sacrifice of somewhere in Kansas. She survived and famously testified that her 15-year-old brother Ben was the other guy not named Ben?
Wait, I feel like I did, but now I'm not sure. I don't remember the Satan sacrifice part. Let me check my Goodreads. I mean, I could read it again anyways. I'm just curious.
Ben was the killer. 25 years later, the Kill Club, a secret society obsessed with notorious crimes, locates Libby and pumps her for details. They hope to discover proof that may free Ben. Libby hopes to turn a profit off her tragic history. She'll reconnect with the players from that night and report her findings to the club for a fee. As Libby's search takes her from Missouri strip clubs to abandoned Oklahoma tourist towns, the unimaginable truth emerges, and Libby finds herself right back where she started, on the run from a killer.
It's creepy. It's good.
Also, you did read it?
Yeah. I just don't remember the satanic part, but I remember. I think I read it
Dark Places
years
good
ago.
I haven't read it. I've read Sharp Objects. I kind of like the mini series Sharp Objects better than the book.
I
I've also
remember-
read Gone Girl,
I like
which is also a great
Gone
movie
Girl.
adaptation.
Mhm.
She's a good author. Yeah, I like her books.
I think Dark Places is gonna be a movie. Was? Is? Maybe it is.
That's like a thing now, right? Like a trend right now. Like they're getting made into movies.
Yeah, there's so many.
It's like they ran out of like movie ideas. So it's like, oh, let's just rip the books.
But
It's already
so many movies are based on books, so we don't even know sometimes.
I think they're just like, oh, this has a fan base, so let's do it because people will
Mhm.
come. Because like people aren't going to movies as much anymore.
So are we just gonna save the I'm glad my mom died for next month?
You guys wanna I think so. Or do you want to include it in this one? I don't think it's scary.
Or I mean we could just say we're gonna read it in the month of November.
We could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of us
Everyone was like super surprised and amazed and like me. I'm down.
I'd be down to
do
do
that.
that the biography. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just have it set.
I already
Good
wanted to.
idea.
because so nobody read it.
I won't.
I have another backup book, so that's fine.
I'm still working on the Henry VIII book. I'm almost there. I'm on the fourth wife now. So.
Oh, I thought you said your 108th book. I was like, oh
No,
my goodness.
No. I'm trying to like read more because I'm like worried I'm not gonna get to my reading goals. So.
That's funny. Okay, I'll send you guys the form.
Sweet.
And I will see you in a week.
Mhm.
And then we will see what we get to read this month.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm excited. Thank you, everyone.
Have a good night.
Good
Buenos
night.
noches.
Bye for now.
Hopefully is having a great night. I'll see you all.
Bye.
Good night.